Hello ladies and gentlemen, Forrest Wolpin here, and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a bit of a different one, but not exactly different. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, there was another structure deck that came out that I found out came out today by way of Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTuber Team APS. I found out about this through them, and so you know I had to get it. Now, the reason why this is going to be a video and not a live uh, structured deck opening is because it's only just one structure deck. Alright, now if I had another structure deck along with this one, then I would go along and, save this deck for last. But since it's only one deck, I figured, I'll get it again. I'll get it, why not? This deck, for me, cost nearly $13 for this, so hopefully it's a damn good deck. Hopefully, based on what the cards are inside. Now, what is this deck? Well, to put it simply, this is the Five Kings structure deck. Yeah, so I'm very interested to see what they got inside of it. Of course, they got the back of it, but I'm not going to show that. We're going to just go right straight into it. I know I did, but you know what? I'll read it for you. It says here, quote, Extreme heat ahead! Intensify your deck's firepower with brand new monster spell and trap cards that unleash the true destructive power of insert star monster card in this deck here. But we're going to go ahead and open this deck up, and we're going to see what other cards alongside this star card, that is the card that they mentioned. Let's see what it is. So, of course, like usual, they come with the play set here. Does it have anything on the back to tell us what decks to go along with it? And yes, they do. But yeah, so this is what they got here. If you want to pause and see what all they have, what they say here, that's fine. But they also have this, I think what is a really cool play mat, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, I do think it's a really cool looking thing there. If I can, there we go, finally. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, let's take a look at what is inside, what deck this thing has. Oh, it's one of those, not in a plastic tray like a number of the other decks were. Did I just open this deck without actually trying to open it? Because I think I just did. I think I just accidentally opened this deck without I think I may have just yeah, I did. I did open this deck, I think, like, I gave it a bit of a rip right there. But, okay then. Let's see what cards are in this deck. This is, of course, a reloaded deck, so it's not first edition, sad face. But, it is what it is. Let's take a look at what we've got here. Actually, no, they are first edition. They're just reloaded first editions. Hopefully there's no damage on the back of these cards. I'd be really pissed off, honestly. But anyway, let's take a look at what we got here. We got Sacred Fire King Garunix. This, oh my god, look at this card. Look at that. This card is a level 3, 4, 5, 6, level 8 Pyro. A level 8 Pyro attribute, Wing Beast effect monster with 2700 attack and 1700 defense. You gotta love how it's just about rainbows. It's just like literally a rainbow hollow. You gotta love that. Anyway, with the effect, if your monster or monsters that was originally fire is destroyed by battle or card effects, you can special summon this card from your graveyard if it was there when the monster was destroyed, or hand, even if not. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can destroy one fire beast, beast warrior, or winged beast monster in your hand, deck, or face-up field except Sacred Fire King Garunix. And if you do, this card gains attack equal to half the destroyed monster's attack it had there, until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Sacred Fire King Garunix once per turn. This card has 2700 attack and 1700 defense. Making sure there's no damage on the back of the card, because I still remember the Crystal Beast deck, and I did not like that it had damage on the back of those cards. But anyway, next up we have Fire King High Avatar Kirin. Kirin. This is a level 8 Pyro, or I say Pyro, it's a fire type. Why am I saying Pyro? Pyro is the monster type, not the attribute name. It's a fire attribute beast effect monster with 2400 attack, 200 defense with the effect. During the main phase, if this card is in your hand, quick effect, you can destroy one other fire monster in your hand or face-up field, and if you do, special summon this card. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Fire King monster from your hand or graveyard, except Fire King High Avatar Kirin. Then you can destroy one card on the field. You can only use each effect of Fire King High Avatar Kirin once per turn. That's nice. Any damage on the back? No, don't look like it. Not too much, if any at all. Next up, we have Fire King Avatar Rangbali. This is a level 4 fire attribute beast warrior effect monster with 1600 attack, 200 defense. With the effect, if a face-up Fire King monster or monsters you control is destroyed by card effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. When a spell, trap card, or effect is activated while this card is on the field, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy one other fire monster in your hand or face-up field. You can only use each effect of Fire King Avatar Rangbali once per turn. I like how the Rangbali just rolls right off the tongue, I swear. Next up, we have Fire King Sanctuary. This is a continuous spell card with the effect. When this card is activated, you can place one Fire King island from your deck face up on your field zone. Once per turn, if a card on your field zone would be destroyed by card effect, you can destroy one fire monster in your hand or face up field instead. Once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, you can immediately, after the effect resolves, Xyz summon one Fire Xyz monster using only Fire King monsters you control. You can only activate one Fire King Sanctuary per turn. How fitting that I'm getting what looks to be like a Pyro deck, and the fact that we're seeing an Xyz monster right here. But the fact that I'm seeing what might be a fire deck in itself, very much like the Volcanic Overload deck that I got over here. I swear. But anyway, next up we have, good lord, that's a big name, Garunix Eternity Hayang of the Fire Kings. This is a ranked 8. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, a rank 8 fire attribute Pyro Xyz effect monster, 3000 attack, 2000 defense, requiring 2 level 8 monsters to Xyz summon. If this card is Xyz summoned, you can destroy all other monsters on the field. You can detach one material from this card, then target one spell trap on the field, destroy it, and if you do, this card gains 500 attack, so it go up to 3500. If this card is destroyed while it has material, you can special summon Fire King monsters from your graveyard up to the number of materials this card had. You can only use each effect of Garunix Eternity Hayang of the Fire Kings once per turn. That is crazy. Alright. Next up, we're still going on with the hollows, okay. Next up, we have Fire King Skyburn. This is a quick play spell card. Basically like a counter spell card. But anyway, with the effect, target an equal number of Fire King monsters you control and cards your opponent controls. Destroy them. If a Fire King card or cards you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only use one Fire King Skyburn effect per turn, and only once that turn. Alright. How many hollows in this deck do we have? But anyway, Echelon of the Fire Kings. This is a trap card with the effect. Special summon 3 fire monsters, 1 beast warrior, and 1 winged beast. 1 each from your hand, deck, and graveyard, but their effects are negated. Also destroy them during the end phase. You can banish this card from your graveyard. This turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard. This turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when you normal or special summon a Fire King monster or monsters. You can only use each effect of Echelon of the Fire Kings once per turn. Interesting. Next up, we have Legendary Fire King Ponix. This is a level 1 Fire Attribute Wing Beast effect monster with 500 attack, 200 defense. With the effect, if your monster or monsters that was originally fire is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Fire King spell trap from your deck to your hand. During the next standby phase, after this card was destroyed and sent to the graveyard, add this card from the graveyard to your hand. You can only use each effect of Legendary Fire King Ponix once per turn. Okay, now we stopped with the... Man, that's a lot of hollows on this deck. Jeez. But anyway, next up we have Fire King Avatar Garunix. This is a fire type level 3 Wing Beast effect monster with 700 attack, 1700 defense. With the effect, if a face-up Fire King monster or monsters you control is destroyed by a card effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card and sent to your graveyard, you can special summon 1 Fire King Avatar monster from your deck. Next up we have Fire King Avatar Balrog. This is a level 4 Fire Attribute Beast Warrior effect monster with 1800 attack, 200 defense. With the effect, if a face-up Fire King monster or monsters you control is destroyed by a card effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn during the next standby phase, after this card was destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, add 1 Fire King card from your deck to your hand, except Fire King Avatar Balrog. I just like saying it like that. I don't know why. Anyway, next up we have Fire King Avatar Yaksha. This is a level 4 Fire Attribute Beast Warrior effect monster with 1800 attack, 200 defense. With the effect, if a face-up Fire King monster or monsters you control is destroyed by a card effect except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can destroy 1 card in your hand or field. You can only use this effect of Fire King Avatar Yaksha once per turn. Alright, and I accidentally bumped the camera with my hat, but anyway. Next up we have Fire King Avatar Keaton. This is a level 3 fire type, fire attribute beast effect monster with 1000 attack, 200 defense. With the effect, if a face-up Fire King monster or monsters you control is destroyed by a card effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can send 1 fire monster from your deck to the graveyard. Next up, we have Blaster, Dragon Ruler of Infernos. This is a fire attribute. Hold on, let me fix that. Yeah, this is a level 8 fire attribute dragon effect monster. I fucking love dragons, I swear to God. Anyway, with 2800 attack, 1800 defense. With the effect, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish a total of 2 fire and or dragon monsters from your hand and or graveyard, except this card. Special summon this card. During your opponent's end phase, if you control this special summon card, return it to the hand. You can discard this card and 1 fire monster to the graveyard, then target 1 card in the field, destroy that target. If this card is banished, you can add 1 fire dragon monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1 Blaster Dragon Ruler of Inferno's effect per turn, and only once that turn. Next up we have Burner, Dragon Ruler of Sparks. This is a level 3 fire attribute dragon effect monster with 1000 attack, 200 defense. With the effect, you can discard this card and 1 dragon or fire monster. Special summon 1 Blaster Dragon Ruler of Infernos from your deck, but it cannot attack this turn. You can only use this effect of Burner Dragon Ruler of Sparks once per turn. Next up, we have Coach Captain Bearman. What a name! This is a level 8 fire attribute beast warrior effect monster with 2600 attack, 2700 defense. With the effect, cannot be used as a material for an XZ summon except for the XZ summon of a fire warrior monster. You can almost summon this card without tributing, but its original attack becomes 1300. Once per turn, you can make all level 4 Beast Warrior monsters you currently control become level 8 until the end of this turn, which goes into that one Xyz card that we talked about earlier. But anyway, coming up next, we have Coach Soldier Wolfbark. This is a level 4 Fire Attribute Beast Warrior effect monster with 1600 attack, 1200 defense. With the effect, you can target one level 4 Fire Beast Warrior monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, but negate its effect. Its effects. You can only use this effect of Coach Soldier Wolfbark once per turn. Next up, we have True King Agnemazud the Vanisher. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but anyway, this looks to be. Yeah, this is a level 9. This is a fire attribute. This is a level 9 fire attribute worm effect monster with 2900 attack, 1900 defense. With the effect, if this card is in your hand, you can destroy 2 other monsters in your hand and or face-up field, including a fire monster, and if you do, special summon this card, and if you do that, you can banish 1 monster from your opponent's field or graveyard. If both the destroyed monsters were fire. If this card is destroyed by a card effect, you can add 1 non-fire worm monster from your graveyard to your hand. You can you can only use each effect of True King of one. You can only use each effect of True King Agnemazud the Vanisher once per turn. I am sorry if I butchered that name, but I cannot pronounce it properly in my book. Oh, here's a card I actually own I think I own a holographic copy of. Infernal Flame Emperor. This is a let me see here. A level 9 fire attribute pyro effect monster with 2700 attack and 1600 defense. With the effect, cannot be special summoned. When this card is tribute summoned, you can banish up to 5 fire monsters from your graveyard. Destroy spell traps on the field equal to the number of banished to activate this effect. Wow. Okay. But the fact that it's rank 9 and it's level 27, and we literally just had another rank 9 monster with much better attributes than that, but whatever. It is what it is. I mean, it has a really good effect, though, but either way. Next up, we have Dagoran the Mad Flame Kaiju. I love the fact that how many of these decks have Kaiju cards in it? But anyway, this is a level 8 fire attribute dinosaur effect monster with 3000 attack, 1200 defense. With the effect, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field to an attack position by attributing 1 monster they control. If your opponent controls a kaiju monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in attack position. You can only control 1 kaiju monster. Once per turn, you can remove 3 kaiju counters from anywhere on the field. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls. This card cannot attack the turn this effect is activated. Next up, we have the Blazing Mars. This is a level 8 fire attribute pyro effect monster with 2600 attack, 2200 defense. With the effect, while this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish 3 other monsters from your graveyard. Special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon other monsters for the rest of this turn. During your main phase 1, you can send all other monsters you control to the graveyard. Inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each monster sent to the graveyard. That seems like a bit of a broken effect, but whatever. Anyway, you can only use this effect of the Blazing Mars once per turn. Next up, we have Bonfire Colossus. This is a level a level 8 fire attribute Beast Warrior effect monster with 2600 attack, 2200 defense. With the effect, if you control a fire monster, you can special summon this card and this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, target 2 fire monsters you control, destroy those targets. I don't know if that's a good effect or not, but whatever. Anyway, here's a card that I've had a copy or two of. Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. This is a level 8 fire attribute winged beast effect monster with 2400 attack, 1600 defense. With the effect, once per turn during your next standby phase after this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon this card from the graveyard. If you do, destroy all spells and traps on the field. Next up we have Royal Firestorm Guards. This is a level 4 fire attribute pyro effect monster with 1700 attack, 1200 defense. With the effect, if this card is normal summoned, target 4 pyro monsters in your graveyard, shuffle all 4 into the deck, then draw 2 cards. Alright. Here's another card that I actually happen to own. Spirit of Flames. This is a level 4 fire attribute pyro effect monster with 1700 attack, 1000 defense. With the effect, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from your hand by banishing 1 fire monster from your graveyard. Gains 300 attack during your battle phase only. So basically, during your battle phase, it goes up to 2,000 attack to 1,000 defense. Alright. Next up, we have Fencing Fire Ferret. This is a level 4 fire attribute beast effect monster with 1700 attack, 600 defense. With the effect, if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Destroy that target, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Alright. Next up, we have Firebrand Hymnist. This is a level 3 fire attribute pyro effect monster with 800 attack, 200 defense. With the effect, when this card is normal summoned, you can send cards from the top of your opponent's deck to the graveyard equal to the number of cards they control. If this card is special summoned, you can send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the number of cards your opponent controls. Wait, what? Well, hold on a second. When this card is normal summoned, you can send cards from the top of your opponent's deck to the graveyard equal to the number of cards they control. If this card is special summoned, you can send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard. Oh, okay. Okay. Equal to the number of cards your opponent controls. You can only use this effect of Firebrand Hymnist once per turn. So basically, try to keep it normal summoned instead of special summoned. Got it. Next up, we have Alpha, the Master of Beasts. This is a level 8 Earth attribute beast effect monster with 3000 attack, 2500 defense. With the effect, cannot be normal summoned set, must first be special summoned from your hand, while the total attack of all monsters your opponent controls is more than that of all monsters you control. You can target any number of beast warrior, and or winged beast monsters you control, or you can target any number of beast warrior, and or winged beast monsters you control. Return them to the hand, then return face-up monsters your opponent controls to the hand, equal to the number of cards you return to the hand. Also, for the rest of this turn, Alpha, the Master Beast you control, cannot attack directly. You can only use this effect of Alpha, the Master Beast once per turn. Interesting. Alright. Next up, we have Droll and Lockbird. This is a level 1 wind attribute spellcaster effect monster with 0 attack, 0 defense. With the effect, if a card or cards is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, except during the draw phase, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. For the rest of this turn, cards cannot be added from either player's main deck to the hand. Interesting. Next up, we have spell cards. The first one, outside of the ones that were hollow. This one is Onslaught of the Fire Kings. This spell card has the effect, If only your opponent controls a monster, special summon one Fire Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster from your deck, but its effects are negated. Also destroy it during the end phase. You can only activate one Onslaught of the Fire Kings per turn. Next up, we have Circle of the Fire Kings. This is a quick play spell card with the effect: target one fire monster you control and one fire monster in your graveyard. Destroy that monster you control, and if you do, special summon that other monster from your graveyard. You can only activate one Circle of the Fire Kings per turn. Next up, we have Rekindling. This is a spell card with the effect: special summon from your graveyard as many fire monsters as possible with 200 defense, but banish them during the end phase of this turn. Next, we have Fire Formation Tenki. This is a continuous spell card with the effect: when this card is activated, you can add one level 4 or lower Beast Warrior monster from your deck to your hand. All Beast Warrior monsters you control gain 100 attack. You can only activate one Fire Formation Tenkai per turn. Dark Hole, everybody's favorite card here. Spell card: destroy all monsters on the field. Very, very, very simple, this card. Alright. Trade in. Discard one level 8 monster, draw 2 cards. Spell card. Now we're getting into the more basic cards until now. Next up we have Herald of the Abyss. This spell card has the effect: pay 1500 life points and declare one monster type and one attribute your opponent must send. So, pay 1500 life points and declare one monster type and one attribute. Your opponent must send one face-up monster with the declared type and attribute from their field to the graveyard. If possible, for the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters with the sent monster's name. You can only activate one Herald of the Abyss per turn. Next up we have Flameville. Now we're going into the trap cards. Next we have Flameville Counter. This is a counter trap card with the effect: when a spell trap is activated, banish one fire monster with 200 defense from your graveyard. Negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Here's a... Oh, this is a card that we shared with the... this is a card that we shared with the Spirit Channelers. But anyway... Oh, hold on, let me fix my deck here. It's getting all kinds of wonky here. Anyway... Next up we have Spiritual Fire Art Kureilai. This trap card has the effect: tribute one fire monster. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. Next we have an old card here, this one. Chain Destruction. This trap card has the effect that when a monster with 2000 or less attack is summoned, target one of them. Destroy all cards with that name in its controller's hand and main deck. Next we have Torrential Tribute. I love this card. Trap card with the effect: when a monster is summoned, destroy all monsters on the field. Very interesting, this trap card. Basically Dark Hole, but it's a trap card, not a spell card. Anyway, Solemn Judgment. This is a counter trap card with the effect: when a monster or monsters would be summoned or a spell trap is activated, pay half your life points. Negate the summoner activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Next up we have Infinite Impermanence. I feel like we have this card somewhere. I think this is the Cyber Strike deck that I'm thinking of. Anyway, this trap card has the effect: target one face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. Then, if this card was set before activation and is on the field at resolution, for the rest of this turn, all other spell trap effects in this column are negated. If you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. Interesting. Next up, we have Power Sink Stone. This is a continuous trap card with the effect: each time a monster effect is activated, place one spellstone counter on this card, max 2. When this card has 2 spellstone counters, neither player can activate the effects or face-up monsters on the field. Also, the effects of face-up monsters on the field are negated. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card has any spellstone counters, remove them. Alright, so now we're going into the extra deck, and we're starting with Coach King Giant Trainer. This is a rank 8 fire attribute warrior exceeds effect monster with 2800 attack, 2000 defense, with the requiring 3 level 8 monsters. With the effect, you can detach one material from this card, draw 1 card, and reveal it. Then, if it is a monster, inflict 800 damage to your opponent. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. You can only use this effect of Coach King Giant Trainer once per up to 3. You can only use this effect of Coach King Giant Trainer up to thrice per turn. Next up, we have Diamond Direwolf. This is an Earth attribute. This is a rank 4 Earth attribute Beast Disease effect monster with 2000 attack, 1200 defense. Requires 2 level 4 monsters. With the effect, once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card. Then target 1 beast warrior, or winged beast monster you control, and 1 of the card on the field. Destroy them. Next up, we have Hita the Fire Charmer Ablaze. This is a spellcaster link effect monster with 1850 attack with a 2 link rating, requiring 2 monsters including a fire monster. This card is always treated as a familiar possessed card. With the effect, you can target 1 fire monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon it to your zone this card points to. Your zone this card points to. If this linked summon card is destroyed by battle or is destroyed by an opponent's card effect while in its owner's monster zone, you can add 1 fire monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Hita the Fire Charmer Ablaze once per turn. Alright. Next up, we have Fire King High Avatar Garunix. This is a level 8 fire attribute winged beast effect monster with 2700 attack, 1700 defense. With the effect, once per turn during the next standby phase after this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon this card from the graveyard. If you do, destroy all other monsters on the field. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Fire King monster from your deck, except Fire King High Avatar Garunix. Next up, we have Fire King Avatar Aravata. This is a level 4 fire attribute beast warrior effect monster with 1800 attack, 200 defense. With the effect, when a monster effect is activated while this monster is on the field, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy 1 other fire monster in your hand or face-up field. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 fire beast, beast warrior, or winged beast monster in your graveyard, except Fire King Avatar Arvata. I can't speak, apparently. I can't pronounce crap. Anyway, special summon it, but negate its effects, also destroy it during the end phase. You can only use each effect of Fire King Avatar Arvata once per turn. And now, finally, Fire King Island. This is a field spell card with the effect. If this face-up card in the field zone is sent to the graveyard or banished, destroy all monsters you control. You can only use 1 of the following effects of Fire King Island per turn and only once that turn. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 monster on your hand or field, and if you do, add 1 Fire King monster from your deck to your hand. Or if you control no monsters, you can special summon 1 Fire Winged Beast monster from your hand. And that is the last card. So that is all of the cards for this structure deck. So let me know what you guys think about this deck. Do you think it's a really good deck, a really bad deck, or an in the middle deck? I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about it. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for this video. So yeah, that was the Fire King structure deck. Special shout out to Team APS for indirectly letting me know that this deck came out today. But with that all being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And until next time, this is Forrest Walpole, signing off.